Welcome back to the Quantum Soul. Ready for another deep dive?
Always.
Today we're going to explore something really fascinating. The idea that there's this hidden power inside each of us.
You know, something ancient traditions have always talked about.
Yeah, and guess what? Science is starting to catch up.
It's pretty amazing how these ancient beliefs, like what we might call mysticism, are finding support from modern science.
Especially in quantum physics, right?
Yeah, exactly.
So we've got ancient texts, whispers of lost traditions, even a mysterious group called the Essenes, all pointing to this power within. Where do we even start with all this?
Well, to understand it, we need to kind of go back in time. See, we've lost so much ancient knowledge throughout history, and that's created a gap in our understanding of, well, the universe and ourselves.
A gap we're trying to bridge, right. So let's rewind. Ancient civilizations, like the Egyptians, the Greeks, they had this deep understanding of the natural world and our place in it. How did we lose all that knowledge?
Well, a lot of it was lost through significant events like the destruction of the Library of Alexandria.
Oh, yeah?
It wasn't just any library, you know? It held scrolls and documents, all this knowledge from the ancient world.
Imagine what treasures were in there. What kind of stuff?
Oh, they say over 500,000 documents were lost in the fire. Ancient Hebrew texts, Phoenician writings, imagine. Even Egyptian writings on medicine and optics. They even had the entire Greek library.
It's hard to grasp just how much we lost. But luckily, some pieces of this lost knowledge, they've resurfaced. It's like a giant puzzle, just waiting to be put back together.
That's a great way to put it. And speaking of rediscovering lost knowledge, one of the most important finds in recent history has got to be the Dead Sea Scrolls.
Right. Amazing discovery.
They give us a peek into the past. The original words of the Hebrew Bible, for example, and so much insight into the beliefs and practices of the Essenes, a mysterious sect who lived near the Dead Sea.
The Essenes. Always found them fascinating. So who were they exactly? What made them so special?
Well, they were pretty secretive, emphasized spiritual purity, communal living, kind of like monastic orders and other traditions, I guess. But their teachings, they were unique in a lot of ways. They believed in collective consciousness, you know, trying to live in harmony with nature.
Sounds like they were way ahead of their time.
Yeah.
But what exactly did they believe about this inner power, this force we're talking about?
Well, like many ancient cultures, the Essenes believed in this vital life force, this energy flowing through everything.
Oh, okay.
They thought it was connected to the universe, and if you could tap into it, you know, you could become more spiritually aware and even like influence the world around you.
So they believed in this deeper connection to the universe. It's like what we're now exploring with it, like quantum entanglement in modern science.
Exactly. And what's interesting is that their practices, they blend this ancient wisdom with what we're finding out about quantum physics today. Like the Essenes valued things like meditation and communal prayer. They thought these things could strengthen their connection to this universal life force.
So they were sort of like early practitioners of what we call energy work today.
Yeah, that's a good way to put it. And what's really interesting is how modern science is starting to back this up. You know, the idea that our bodies aren't just physical, but also these complex energy systems.
Like bioenergetics.
Exactly,
So
bioenergetics. It seems like the Essenes had an intuitive understanding of this centuries ago.
It's like they had a blueprint for tapping into our hidden potential. But if their teachings were so powerful, why did they face persecution?
Their beliefs and practices often clashed with the powers that be at the time.
Yeah.
Religious and political authorities saw them as like a threat, you know, just like a lot of spiritual groups throughout history who challenged the status quo, I guess.
Yeah, so forced into hiding, protecting their knowledge. Is that why they hid the Dead Sea Scrolls?
Exactly. They hid them in the caves at Qumran to preserve their teachings and the original Hebrew Bible texts. These scrolls, they give us a glimpse into their lives, beliefs, rituals, everything.
It's like a time capsule from a lost world. And inside these scrolls, do we find more about this inner power they were trying to cultivate?
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah.
We see references to things like ritual bathing, communal singing, and even specific breathing exercises. They were all about purifying the body and aligning with the divine. They believed that through these practices, they could reach a higher state of consciousness and access this hidden knowledge.
It sounds like they were tapping into something really profound, something beyond the ordinary.
I think so. And what's fascinating is that many of these practices, meditation and breathwork, they're now being studied by scientists, you know, for their potential to improve our well-being, both mentally and physically. Seems the Essenes were onto something.
It really does. And this is where it gets even more intriguing. What if the Essenes, with their focus on collective consciousness and this inner power, what if they were tapping into the same principles that modern physics is uncovering?
That's a great question. What if ancient wisdom and modern science are actually converging, pointing towards a deeper understanding of the universe and our place in it.
We've covered a lot of ground already, from the burning of the Library of Alexandria to the Dead Sea Scrolls and the Essenes' mysterious practices. But before we dive deeper, I want to remind everyone watching to subscribe, like, and share this video, spread the knowledge, and join us as we keep exploring the mysteries of the quantum soul.
It's like we're rediscovering this lost language, a language that speaks to like the core of who we are, to this potential we all have inside us.
And a language that connects us not only to our past, but also to like the most cutting-edge science today. You mentioned quantum physics earlier. How does that connect to the ancient wisdom of the Essenes?
Well, quantum physics is kind of shaking up our old way of thinking about the universe, like that Newtonian model. Quantum physics shows us that at the tiniest level, the world works in ways that seem, well, almost magical,
Yeah.
Particles can be in multiple states at once. They can be entangled across huge distances. And it's like our observation, our act of looking at these particles that forces them to choose a state and become the reality we see.
Okay, so that's super interesting, but also kind of mind-blowing. How does this relate back to the Essenes and what they believed about inner power?
Well, the Essenes, they believed in this like unifying force, this life force that flows through everything. They saw it as connected to the whole universe, and they thought it responded to human consciousness.
Okay.
And now quantum physics is suggesting that there really is a field of energy connecting everything in the universe. Some physicists call it the quantum vacuum or the zero-point field.
So what you're saying is what the Essenes saw as this spiritual force could be what science is now calling this quantum field.
It's a really interesting possibility. This field, according to some interpretations of quantum mechanics, it's not empty space. It's full of potential energy and information.
Okay.
And it reacts to our thoughts, our emotions, our intentions.
Wait, are you saying that our minds can actually have an effect on this quantum field?
There's more and more evidence coming out, especially in the field of psychoneuroimmunology, that shows our thoughts and emotions directly impact our physical bodies and even the environment.
Wow.
This is where ancient wisdom and modern science seem to meet, The Essenes, with their meditation and prayer, they were trying to tune into this field and tap into its power.
So they were like early quantum engineers. Wow, that's incredible. But if this power is within all of us, why aren't we all like living these amazing lives and doing incredible things?
That's the question, isn't it? Maybe we've lost touch with ourselves with this field of infinite potential. We've forgotten how to access it. Or maybe, as the Essenes believed, it takes purification and alignment. We need to tune our consciousness to a higher frequency,
So it's not just about wishing for things to happen. It's about aligning our thoughts, emotions, and actions with what we truly want. It's about a way of being.
Exactly. And this is where the Essene practices come in. Living in community, helping others, being in harmony with nature. They knew that to make a better world, you have to start by creating harmony within yourself and your community.
It's about recognizing that we're all connected, not just individuals, but part of this bigger web of life, and that our thoughts and emotions, they rivel outwards and affect everything around us.
That's right. And that leads us to another cool concept that the Essenes were exploring: reality as a simulation.
Hold on, now we're going from ancient wisdom to quantum physics to the Matrix. How do we get here?
Well, the idea of reality as a simulation, it's not new. It's been around for centuries. Plato's allegory of the cave, the Hindu concept of Maya, and now some physicists are saying our universe might be like a super advanced computer program, a simulation created by some higher intelligence.
So you're saying our world, with all its complexity, could just be lines of code in some giant computer.
It's a wild thought, right? But it's gaining traction among some scientists. Think about it. Computer simulations are getting more and more real. Virtual reality games can create these amazing, detailed worlds. So, is it that crazy to think our reality might be a simulation on a massive scale?
But then, who created this simulation?
Yeah.
And why?
Those are big questions that we can only guess at. Some physicists think maybe it's a way for advanced civilizations to study how consciousness evolves or explore possibilities. Others suggest it's like a cosmic video game, testing our ability to learn and grow.
Okay, this is getting really deep.
Yeah.
But if this is a simulation, does that mean we don't have free will? Are we just like puppets being controlled?
That's where free will gets even more interesting. If we're in a simulation, the rules, the laws of physics are already set.
Okay.
But we still have choices. We can learn, grow, and shape our experiences within those rules.
So it's like we're playing a video game, but we get to decide how we play it.
Exactly. And maybe the point of the game isn't winning or losing, but learning and evolving, expanding our consciousness, and adding to the beauty and complexity of the simulation.
This is mind-blowing. We've gone from the wisdom of the Essenes to quantum physics, to the possibility that we're living in a simulation. It's like a cosmic treasure hunt, finding clues in ancient traditions and modern science to unlock the mysteries of the universe and ourselves. Before we keep going down this rabbit hole, I want to remind everyone watching to subscribe, like, and share this video. Spread the knowledge and come along with us on this incredible journey of exploration. So, okay, we're living in a simulation. It's a wild thought, but if we go with it for a second, what does it even mean for us? Like, does it change how we live our lives?
That's the big question, right? Does even just suspecting that our reality might be a construct change how we play the game? Some might say it makes everything meaningless, but others, they find it liberating.
Liberating.
Well, think about it. If this is a simulation, maybe all the limits we see, they're just part of the program, not like ultimate truths. The Essenes, remember, they believed we have a spark of the divine inside us.
Right.
Maybe this simulation is a way for that spark to grow.
So instead of feeling stuck, we could see it as a challenge, a chance to push beyond what we think is possible.
Exactly. Like, what if miracles, those impossible things, are just glitches in the matrix? Moments where we've tapped into the code of the simulation.
Interesting way to think about it. It's almost like the Essenes, with their focus on inner power, were hacking the system way before computers even existed.
And maybe they left us clues in their teachings, clues we're just starting to understand with the help of modern science. Remember how the Essenes believed in the power of collective consciousness? That our thoughts and emotions could affect the world around us?
Yeah, and that lines up with what quantum physics is saying about everything being connected.
Right. If we're all linked through this energy field, then maybe our thoughts and emotions together are actually shaping the very fabric of reality.
So to create a better world, a world with more harmony and love, we need to start by changing what's going on inside us.
Yeah.
Cultivating positive thoughts and emotions.
The Essenes would agree with that. They believed that purifying your body and mind, living in harmony with nature, helping others, all of that was essential for aligning yourself with the divine, with the source God of creation.
It's a powerful idea, one that goes beyond time. It speaks to our need for connection, purpose, meaning. But how do we use these ancient teachings in our modern world? We don't live in secluded communities like the Essenes.
True, but we can still find ways to incorporate their wisdom into our daily lives.
Okay.
Meditation, mindfulness, spending time in nature. These things can help us connect with that inner peace, that divine spark within. Acts of kindness, compassion, helping others, these things can spread outwards, creating a more loving and harmonious world.
It's about realizing that we're not just watching this reality simulation or not. We're part of it. We can shape our experiences and affect the world around us.
And maybe, by remembering that we're all connected, part of something bigger, we can start to co-create a reality that reflects our best selves. A reality where love, peace, and harmony win.
So as we wrap up this deep dive into ancient wisdom and the nature of reality, I want to leave you with this. Whether you believe we're in a simulation or not, the invitation is the same. Tap into that power inside you, connect with that divine spark, and help create a world that shows the best of humanity. Don't forget to subscribe, like, and share this video. There are 2 videos on the screen right now, each leading to a different path of exploration. Choose one and continue your journey into the wonders of the quantum soul.